sisters, like he said, you're wearing blonde hair. Now, I don't know what the new thing is, but sisters got what they call micro braids all the way down to their ankles now. All the way down to your ankles. And you pretty much tripping over yourself. Right? It don't make sense. Read that.
The book of Daniel, chapter 7 and verse 9.
Read.
I beheld till the thrones were cast down, and the ancients of days did sit.
Right? So it says the ancient of days did sit. You listening, brother? Go ahead.
Whose garment was white as snow.
And his garment. God, this is the Most High God in the heavens. He has on a garment. Garment is the same as clothes. That means he got what? A body. He got a body. Go ahead.
And the hair of his head.
And the hair now, he's seen, this is a vision that Daniel seen of God himself. He looked at the hair on his head. Read.
Was like the pure wool.
The hair on God's head is woolly.
That's right.
Meaning what? He has a fro.
Right.
God is a black man.
That's right.
We understand. We knew that having an afro was beauty because back in the 60s, back in the 70s, we came out with the Black Power movement. Right. We had the pink, we had the afros, the Black Power movement. We was pro-black during the 60s and 70s. And we got away from the relaxers. The women stopped using the relaxers, stopped straightening their hair, and so forth. And we started growing our afros and saying what? Black is beautiful.
That's right.
That's what we was doing through the 60s and 70s, because we understood that we are beautiful people upon the earth.
Right.
We understood
it. Who taught you, please, who taught you to hate the texture of your hair? Who taught you to hate the color of your skin to such extent that you bleach to get like the white man? Who taught you to hate the shape of your nose and the shape of your lips? Who taught you to hate yourself from the top of your head to the soles of your feet? Who taught you to hate your own kind? Who taught you to hate the race that you belong to? So much so that you don't want to be around each other. No, before you come asking Mr. Muhammad, does he teach hate, you should ask yourself who taught you to hate being what God gave you.
Even though the other nations, they didn't like that. They hated that thing. They started doing what? Even if you wanted a job now, they started setting up different rules so that you couldn't get a job. Or they set up rules saying, look, you gotta cut your hair. You can't have braids. You can't grow your fro out. You can't grow your beard out. You got to shave that. All that is set up. It's a war against our people not to be beautiful, to be like the enemy. Give me Proverbs 3:31.
Bring it out.
All of that is set up so you will be just like the enemy.
Right.
You will look the part like the enemy. Read that. Proverbs 3:31. Read.
The book of Proverbs, chapter 3 and verse 31.
Listen to what the Bible says. Go.
Envy thou not the oppressor.
God says, don't envy your oppressor. Who's your oppressor? White folks, Arabs.
Right.
All of them, Chinese.
Right.
Right? Go ahead. But first and foremost, the white man. Go ahead.
And choose none of his ways.
Don't choose their ways. What is some of their ways? Give me an example. What's coming up tomorrow? What's tomorrow?
Right.
What's tomorrow, bro?
What's tomorrow? Sunday? Sunday.
Tomorrow's Halloween.
Halloween. All right.
Right? Is it tomorrow?
Yeah. 30th, yeah.
Yeah, tomorrow's Halloween. Read that again.
Proverbs chapter 3, verse 31.
Read.
Envy thou not the oppressor.
The Bible says don't envy your oppressors. They the ones that dress up and worship the dead.
The holiday came to America with the wave of Irish immigrants during the potato famine of the 1840s. They brought several of their holiday customs with them, including bobbing for apples and playing tricks on neighbors, like removing gates from the front of houses. The young pranksters wore masks so they wouldn't be recognized.
That's what Halloween is. You're worshiping the dead. It don't make no sense for you to spend your money to go put on makeup, to go put on all type of nonsense to look like a dead person.
Right.
That is madness. That's crazy. Now they put up this Halloween store every month of October, and it's only up for 1 month. You know how much money they bring in just being there that 1 month? Because our people want to go in there and look like a dead person. And the store is called spirits because you're putting on different spirits. That's what you're doing. And then, not to mention, on Halloween, normally you tell your children don't talk to a stranger. You tell your kids, you teach your kids, you say don't talk to a stranger when you don't talk to no strangers when you go out. But what do you do during Halloween? I want you to answer me. You knock on a stranger door. It's confusing. You're confusing your children now. What do I do? Do I talk to strangers? Do I don't? Oh, well, Halloween, you can talk to them. That don't make no sense. Halloween, you can talk to any stranger you want to talk to, son, and go get candy from them from a person you don't know. You don't know what they did to the candy. Now you go into a stranger door to go get some candy. Then your children acting crazy the next day. You like, damn, what's going on with you? Well, there was something in the candy. You got it from a stranger. Read that again.
Proverbs chapter 3, verse 31. Envy thou not the oppressor, and choose none of his ways.
Right. Read this real quick. Read what happens on, read what Halloween is about. October 31st. Read that.
October 31st, Halloween, goddess month of Samhain conference.
So Halloween comes from Sam Haynes.
Wait,
Sam
yo,
Haynes.
what you reading from?
Bring that book out. It's called the Pagan Book of Days. All right?
The Pagan Book of Days, page 121.
Read that.
October 31st, Halloween, goddess month of Sam Haynes.
So Sam Haynes is who they created the holiday, who they created the pagan day after. All right, go ahead.
The feast of Sam Haynes marked the onset of darkness.
Marked the onset of a darker,
more introspective time of year.
So it marks the feast of Sam Haynes, which is Halloween, marks the onset of a darker, that's the key word, a darker, more introspective time of the year. Go ahead.
When access to the other world is easier than usual.
What's the other world? He said when access to the other world is normal than is what? It's easier than usual. That's the dead world. That's the other world that that they're worshiping. You trying to bring back the dead. You're worshiping the dead. That's the other world they talk about. Go ahead.
The festival is also known as Halloween.
The festival is known as Halloween. When you go out, you dress up like the dead. You look like a ghost. You go cut up your bed sheet that you really need to sleep on, but you done cut it up. You put that on. You put paint over the bed sheet and walk around like a fool.
Bring it out. Bring it out.
That's what you do. Read it again.
From the top, sir.
From the top. From the top. Bring it out.
The festival of Samhain marks the onset of a darker, more introspective time of year.
Right.
When access to the other world.
When access to the dead world, the spirit world, go ahead. When you accessing demons, you're bringing back demons. That's what you're doing. You're worshiping demons, the dead. Go ahead.
Is easier than usual.
It's easier than usual, he's saying, during that time of the year. That's what they believe. Okay, that's where it come from. Come from like the Druids and all of them. Go ahead.
The festival is also known as Halloween.
The festival is known today as Halloween, and that's what our people is worshiping today. What's going on, bro?
How did you join?
Oh, how you join? Talk to one of the brothers right here. He'll let you know. Bring, you can drop that. Now go back. Read.
Proverbs chapter 3. Proverbs chapter 3, verse 31.
Right.
Envy thou not the oppressor.
The Bible says don't envy your oppressor. They the ones that worship the dead. They the ones that celebrate Halloween. That's their feast to bring back the dead. Why are we doing it? Why are we going to do that? Don't you know every holiday come around, we the ones, black people and Hispanic are the ones that exceed the wickedness.
That's right.
Right. The so-called white man and other nations, they do the wickedness to a certain extent, but we got to go over and beyond. We got to do it bigger and better. You understand? This is our people. This is who we are. Go ahead, read it again.
Envy thou not the oppressor, and choose none of his ways.
But God said, don't choose none of the oppressor ways. Don't celebrate Halloween. Don't go dress your children up. in some wicked costumes. What to worship the dead. Give me Wisdom of Solomon 14. Watch this. Wisdom of Solomon 14. What's your name, my man? Ant? Ant, I'm Jez. Watch this, Ant. Listen good. Read that. Oh, I'm sorry. Wisdom of Solomon 14, 16.
Wisdom of Solomon, chapter 14, verse 16.
Bring it out.
Go ahead.
Thus, in the process of time,
So now the Bible said, thus in the process of time, go ahead.
an ungodly custom,
That ungodly custom we just read about was Sam Haines. That's where Halloween come from. That's an ungodly custom. Go ahead. How you doing, my man? Go ahead.
grown strong,
It grew strong over the centuries, throughout the centuries and throughout the years. It grew strong. Go ahead.
and was kept as a law.
Give me an example of it being kept as a law now. Give me an example of Halloween being kept as a law. How we know Halloween is kept as a law today? How? I hear you in the back, sis. What you say? I can't hear you. My man, what's your name? Deacon. How do we know Halloween is kept as a law? Huh? We don't? How do we know? We do know it's kept as a law. It's on the calendar. It's on the calendar.
No.
Is it on the calendar?
Yes, sir.
Halloween is on the calendar. That's how you know. You know it. Trust me. Every black and Hispanic person know what Halloween coming up. It's kept as a law now. Go ahead. Read.
Thus, in the process of time, an ungodly custom grown strong and was kept as a law.
Go ahead.
And graven images were worshipped by the commandments of kings.
And graven images. Now we use those graven images and make what? Pumpkins. We carve the pumpkin and make what they call a jack-o'-lantern. Jack-o'-lantern. That's an example of a graven image that we use for this particular pagan holiday. Go ahead.
Whose men could not honor in present, because they dwelt far off. They took the counterfeit of his visage from far,
The counterfeit of the person's face that you're worshiping. Go ahead.
and made express images of a king whom they honored, to the end that by this their forwardness they might flatter him that was absent as if he was present.
The person that was absent as if he was present is Sam Haines. That's who you worshiping.
This is the Satanic Bible. Wow.
The what?
The Satanic Bible by Alton Satanzer
LaVey. All right, so it's another book right here. Listen, watch this.
Page 96.
Read.
After one's own birthday, yes sir. After one's own birthday, the two major satanic holidays are
Just skip that. And Halloween. So Halloween, he's saying after one's own birthday, two major satanic holidays. I can't say the other word, but Halloween is one of them. Go ahead.
or All Hallows Eve.
Or Halloween came, your flyer from it. Halloween came from Hallows Eve. Go ahead.
Halloween, All Hallows Eve.
Go ahead.
Or All Saints Day.
Read.
Falls on October 31st or November 1st.
Read.
Originally, All Hallows Eve was one of the great fire festivals of Britain at the time of the Druids.
See, at the time of the Druids of what?
In
go ahead.
Scotland.
In Scotland, read.
It was associated with the times when the spirits of the dead,
You see, when the spirits of the dead, that's where you get your costume from. Go ahead.
the demons, witches, and sorcerers were unusually active in
Propitious. So that's when you try to summon up demons and sorcerers and so familiar spirits and all that around that time.
That's what we're going to see further down.
All Hallows Eve was also the night when young people perform magical rituals and to determine their future marriage partners.
All right, you can drop that. Give me where it says about witches in the law. Exodus 18. Give me that. Watch this. Let's see what the Bible says about witches. Because during Halloween, you summon demons, spirits of the dead, sorcerers, and witches.
Right.
Let's see what the Bible says about that.
The book
No
of
matter.
Deuteronomy,
Go ahead, read.
the book of Exodus, chapter 22, verse 18.
Let's see what God says about that.
Thou shalt not suffer a witch to live.
God said you should not suffer a witch to live. Our people want to dress up like witches and so forth. They want to be a witch. They want to be a sorcerer.
Warlock.
A warlock. God is against that. That's an abomination. He said you should not suffer a witch to live. That's your necromancers. That's your your diviners, palm readers, your psychics, right? They're witches. Go ahead, read it again.
The book of Exodus, chapter 22, verse 18.
Read.
Thou shalt not suffer a witch to live.
The Bible says you should not suffer a witch to live. All right. So from there, that's all I want. You got any questions?
I just came to listen.
Right. All right. All praises. All praises. Read that. Read it. You got another. Read.
The book of Deuteronomy, chapter 18, verse 10. There shall not be found among you anyone that maketh his son or his daughter to pass through the fire.
So God said this should. So that's going into what? Abortions. Go ahead.
Or that uses divination.
That uses divination. That's a witch. That uses divination, magic, and so forth and so on. Go ahead.
Or an observer of times.
Or an observer of times. That's your horoscopes. You ever look at your horoscope? Right? That's witchcraft. That's witchcraft. That's weird. That's witchcraft.
Or an enchanter.
Or an enchanter. Go ahead.
Or a witch.
A lot of the presidents, they have enchanters that reads the astrologers, that read the stars, and they want to know in the horoscopes and all that stuff. They deal with that. That's witchcraft. Go ahead.
Or a charmer.
Or a charmer. Read.
Or a consulter of familiar spirits.
Or a consulter of familiar spirits.
This still Exodus?
Right. This is Deuteronomy. This is Deuteronomy now.
Deuteronomy, okay.
All right. Or a consulter of familiar spirits, trying to summon up the dead. That goes into Halloween, man. That's what they doing. All right. Give me Zephaniah 1 and 8, and I'm gonna give it back to the soldier. Zephaniah 1 and 8. Let's see what God says about dressing up in costumes and so forth on Halloween. Read.
This is the book
because the Christian church ain't gonna teach you this. The Christian church ain't gonna teach you Halloween is bad. Matter of fact, the Christian church probably decorating the church themselves. Because that's how evil they are. Read.
The book of Zephaniah, chapter 1 and verse 8.
Read.
And it shall come to pass in the day of the Lord's sacrifice that I will punish the princes and the king's children.
We're the princes and we're the king's children of God. You blacks and Hispanics, 12 tribes of Israel. That's who we be. Read that part again by punishing.
I will punish the princes and the king's children.
God said he's going to punish blacks and Hispanics for what? Read.
And all such are clothed in strange apparel.
Halloween costumes and strange apparel.
Bring it out.
God said he's going to punish you blacks and you Hispanics for putting that crap on.
Right.
For dressing up like Michael Myers. You want to look like Jason Voorhees. You want to look like a scarecrow.
Right.
Read it again.
Zephaniah chapter 1 and verse 8.
Read.
And it shall come to pass in the day of the Lord's sacrifice, I will punish the princes and the king's children.
God said he's going to punish you for Halloween. If y'all want to go out and celebrate Halloween and trick or treat, God says he's going to punish you for that thing. That's why so many killings is going on around here. Because we keep breaking God's laws.
That's right.
I want to go put on a hockey mask. Oh, but when you ask a brother or sister, why are you celebrating Halloween? I do it for the children. But God said don't do it for nobody. Don't put your children in that mess. Don't put yourself in it. Read.
I will punish the princes and king's children.
Read.
All such are clothed in strange apparel.
So that's strange apparel, putting on strange apparel for that particular day. All right.
We used to scream black power while heroin was pushed. But at the end of the day, nothing's in vain. IUIC has been given a vision. The tents of Judah has risen. Many has attempted the mission, minor murmuring, omitting, and missing the mark. Just reading that he had the flame of fire in his eyes gave us the spark. We on Paul's mission. We out on the road, purple and gold, from Mexico, Cuba, Haiti, Ghana, Sierra Leone. 144,000 boots banging, concrete crackling. These are our men repented at heart. The scriptures is proof. IUIC, we deliver the truth.